What is going on, button pushers? Welcome back to the channel. My name is David, and today we are talking about this right here. This is the Feiyu-Tech Scorp 2 gimbal. This super lightweight gimbal with a bit of versatility. I've had a bit of time with this gimbal here, and just to say, it is definitely for people with lighter cameras or people that are just starting out, because it is just a payload of 5.5 pounds, so it isn't too good for heavier cameras. So anybody who's just starting out, this is for you. So let's take a little bit of time to talk about what comes with the gimbal itself. Of course, it comes with a really nice carrying case, and I love gimbals that come with carrying cases, and gear that comes with carrying cases in general. It's really nice to be able to make sure that your gear is nice and snug and has a place in the carrying case for pretty much everything that comes with it. It comes with a lot of different things like focus gears or a rosette attachment or an extension rod and, counterweight sets and a bunch of other things, a vertical plate, a regular plate, the tripod legs itself. So many different accessories and so many different ways that you can rig this gimbal up so that you can kind of make it fit your style and what you need specifically, which is always really nice. However, from my belief of using handheld gimbals, I really enjoy just having the base itself. I don't really like adding on too much, making it heavier, pushing the rig a little bit more than it should be. So all of this stuff, honestly, I don't really use any of it. I might use a focus gear from time to time, depending on the rig, depending on the job. But normally, I really like to keep it as lightweight as possible, because otherwise I would just use my VideoMic Pro. So let's just talk about the handheld rig itself. Build quality wise, I think it does a really good job of staying lightweight. And that is honestly, I think one of the biggest things in handheld gimbals is staying lightweight. I remember using the DJI Ronin S, the first edition, and it was one of the heaviest gimbals ever. It was so heavy because in comparison to what we use nowadays and how lightweight and easy it is to pick up and carry these things, it was actually really insane how bulky, how big, and how heavy the original Ronin S was. And if you don't believe me, just go find one and pick it up. It's completely different than what you might be using now. The materials here we're getting don't necessarily feel too metally to me. A lot of it feels like it is a little bit more plasticky, but there are pieces where it does feel like metal, especially on the gimbal portion itself. When it comes to the handle, the tripod and stuff, we're not getting as much of a metal feel, more of like a nice hard plastic. It's not like flimsy and feels like it's weak, but it feels like a really good sturdy kind of plastic in addition to the metal of the actual gimbal itself. So I feel like the gimbal can last, but it will definitely get some wear and tear, probably a bit faster than other gimbals, which is completely fine because it adds a bit of character. Based on my use, everything seems pretty functional, pretty comfortable, and the gimbal works pretty well. It comes with a lot of parts and pieces, so when I was just starting to use it, I kind of took a while to learn how to balance it because I ended up using the wrong plate, and it kind of took me like 2 hours to figure out how to balance it. But after I figured out I was using the wrong plate the whole time, it was super easy to get it balanced. And then after getting it balanced, I kind of jumped straight into it and started using it. And honestly, the smoothness of the gimbal itself was really nice. And maybe it's because I use heavier cameras most of the time. And this time I decided to use my R5 on this gimbal just to make sure that it could handle the weight rather than my R3. And honestly, it felt really smooth. I know a gimbal's job is to make your footage look smooth, but the actual movements of the gimbal itself felt very smooth. And honestly, sometimes when I use my other gimbal, it does get a little jittery or bumpy sometimes, and I feel like that could be because of the weight of my camera, but this did feel really good. It felt really good in the hand, everything felt natural. Being able to move it was really cool. I'm not too used to using a handle like this because I usually grab this and then use the joystick on the actual arm itself, but then this other arm that protrudes out, this is not an attachment, this is part of the actual gimbal. So you're kind of forced to use this. So it is a bit of a learning curve for me, but after I got the hang of it, all the shots were amazing. This gimbal definitely does the job, and it's definitely able to, smoothen your footage, give you really, really good looking shots, and a lot of versatility when it comes to rigging. There's several points of contact for me to hold on to. I can hold on to here, I can hold on to here, I can do both here if I don't need the joystick, and there's so many different plate pieces and places that I can hold things. It's just like a lot of different options for me. I'm not too used to having that many options because, again, I really like to keep things down, dirty, and simple. Nothing too fancy, no ring for me, nothing. So having a bit of versatility when it comes to this is really, really nice because I can hold it down like this, I can hold it up, I can do that. There's so many different things that I can do with a gimbal like this. Of course, like every other gimbal in the market these days, it comes with all your special panoramas, your tracking, and all that cool stuff. But I think the first time that I used Bluetooth on any of my other gimbals, it was kind of really disappointing and kind of a hassle to get to it. And I honestly don't use Bluetooth all that often for most of my gimbals because it just takes so much work. Sometimes it's wonky, the connection's not as stable. But for this gimbal, it was actually really, really, really simple. It took me like 15 to 30 seconds to get it connected. And once it was connected, it was a super, super simple process. And I really, really actually enjoyed that experience because, again, I never use Bluetooth for any of my gimbals. I don't really do it because it's such a hassle to go out of your way and do it. But this one made it feel super smooth. Like I literally didn't have to do much. I just pressed a few buttons and it was connected. I can record, I could control my camera from here. It was really, really amazing. So if I was to use Bluetooth, this would be a gimbal that I would choose. Honestly, Bluetooth's not too big for me because, I don't mind hitting the record button on the camera and whatnot, but the connection, it's super easy. If you're worried about connection, it was a great experience for me. Something that I think is actually really cool and isn't in many other gimbals is that if I don't have my tripod portion of it and I forgot it at home or I left it out or something, because I know people that have done that before where they forget the tripod portion of their gimbal and they have to hold it the entire time. They can never put it down. Well, this gimbal has a solution for that, if I can get it out. It is in there pretty tight. But these little arms protrude from the side arm here, and you can actually place the gimbal down just like that, and it stands. So that way you don't need to have that tripod portion of your gimbal. You can place your gimbal down anyway. And this might help with making your rig a bit smaller and, just again, in case you forgot something, it helps out. I don't think I would ever forget it because most of the time I leave my tripod portion on my gimbal. So I would never really need this, but again, it's really, really nice to have. It adds a bit of versatility, a bit of functionality, and allows you to pack a little bit lighter, especially when you're traveling. So you don't need to bring this extra, what is this? This is more than 6 inches. After using this gimbal for quite a while, the shots again are amazing. The gimbal itself works really well. It does have locks. It has, a bunch of different axes, a bunch of different accessories. There's tilt lock, roll lock. There's locks for each axis, and it's super awesome. Quick note back on the build, there are locks for each axis. These little silver notches here, you can use to lock your gimbal so it's not swinging around if you haven't noticed that it hasn't been swinging around in the first place. We do get our little focus wheel here, which you could actually use if you connect your camera to Bluetooth. Focus wheel or, whatever you can set it up to be. And that's actually really cool because I like the way it has that silver on it. And you can spin it, and it's kind of like an ADHD thing, and you can just kind of watch it spin. It's really cool. Anyways, overall, I think it's a really great starter gimbal for people using, again, lightweight cameras because the payload, again, is super, super light. But the gimbal itself is really amazing. It has a great functionality. There's so much versatility when it comes to rigging it. It has a vertical plate, a horizontal plate. You can do so many different things with it. You can forget pieces at home. You can leave pieces at home. You can extend pieces. There's so many different things you can do with it. So it is a great option for gimbals for people that are starting out and kind of just getting into video or, figuring things out, having fun, hobbyists. So I would definitely check this out. Make sure you guys check the link in the description below. I'll leave that for you guys so you guys can take a look, see if you want to pick up one up for yourself. And yeah. Let me know what you guys think in the comments of this gimbal based on the footage you've seen and everything. And I will see you guys in the next video. Have an awesome day. Stay cool. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I will see you then. Peace.